Let's test our audio here at 20 seconds. Let's test our audio here at 20 seconds. Excellent. Look at that, everybody. We got this working. Welcome to Tech Thursday. My name is Dan, and this is our post for today about PowerPoint on the Mac computers. I'm going to share just a couple things that I really like about running PowerPoint on my Mac computer here. And one of the things that I have found super useful in using the Mac version of PowerPoint is something that Apple no longer supports, but I fell in love with a little too late to fully take advantage of, and that is something I can show you here on my Mac computer, and it is the touch bar. I'd always thought, what's the big deal about the touch bar and where would I use this? Well, one place that I might be interested in using this is in PowerPoint. So let's say that I've got a slide and I want to add a picture. I have a picture that I can add right there from my touch bar. And if I am in slideshow mode, so we bring up that first slide again, go into slideshow mode here. My touch bar turns into the slides in my presentation. So if I'm interested in maybe going to slide number 3, I can press slide number 3 and I'm sitting on that particular slide. And then I have information on the touch bar related to the application that I'm in. Too little too late. Apple decided that the touch bar is no longer going to be something they continue, at least in the MacBook Pros. I'm not even sure if it ever made it to the Air. I don't think it was included on the MacBook Air computers, to my knowledge. But the touch bar is something that I have on this 13-inch MacBook Pro. And then I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro with the new M1 Pro chip. And that one doesn't have the touch bar. And sadly, I find myself missing it when I'm checking out new features like that on the computer. The other reason I wanted to use a secondary camera for this particular session was for another feature in PowerPoint called Cameo. And so if I'm sharing my screen still, you should be able to see in the, let's make sure it is still being shared. It looks like it is. Should be able to see in the upper right of PowerPoint, I have a Cameo object that I can drop in to my slides and then do things like a circle or change the circle shape. Put this into something like a cartoon object. Turn on the camera to take a look at where I am and how I'm framed up. So I'm using my Creative Labs RealSense video camera for Restream, and then I'm using the built-in MacBook camera for PowerPoint. And I can change this or choose the camera with the drop down here in the upper left of PowerPoint under the camera controls once I have dropped in a Cameo object. And one of the nice things about the Cameo object is I can control or Command C on a Mac and Command C to another slide. Make changes to where I've got my outline or my photo. And we talked about this, I believe, yesterday, but my audio wasn't working. I can go into Format Camera and the color palette, picture correction. No, where was it? Was it under picture color? Yeah, presets. And I can go into black and white. So go over here, turn on my camera, picture corrections, presets, and make that black and white. Fit it in differently with my slides. This object needs to be brought to the front in PowerPoint, so it sits on top of my face. And so I can do some layering. I was also showing yesterday one of my favorite Mac PowerPoint features. I'm doing a session for one of the, I'm deciding whether it should be, what were my suggestions today? Let me look them up. I had 3 or 4 suggestions on what to call Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, and Google. And I came up with some that I was proud of with the 6 letters. Let's see if I can find my suggestions. Nag fam, fam nag, mag fan. Arrange reorder objects on a Mac. Check out how visual this is to understand what my layers are and where my face shapes are coming from versus overlaying them on a particular face. So if I want to take this one and lay it over here, move the other shape out of the way, I can understand what's going to happen and why this one's sitting behind it. If I don't understand the bring to front, send to back commands, arrange, reorder objects, very visual way to understand, oh, that's why that layer isn't sitting on top or behind something. And now when I drag it, it's sitting on top of the face shape with the expression. And I can drag these things now around to the different faces on my slides. And then if I wanted to add another face shape, that's under Insert, Icons. And if I expand this left or to the left, so I can see cartoon people, this is the area that I was picking from. I have heads, faces, upper bodies, expressions. So all sorts of things that I can use and insert for use on my slides. I get rid of those 2 right-hand sections. I now have another face shape and a few expressions that I can use. And I can either do the send to back or reorder objects to understand that if I want to send that to the very far back, anything now can sit on top of this layer, including I could put them, the people behind each other, but the faces should now sit on top of that. And I can resize the size of the objects to get it just the way I want it. Right click, bring to front, solving that problem. And then we had the kind of angry face here. And I could do things like rearrange these. And then the benefit to, we'll call this cartoon heads. When we're presenting these slides, not only does the Mac again give me the capability of looking at, if I move this over again, my particular slides in this slideshow, but it also gives me the morph transitions between my items within the slideshow. So I could use the spacebar to move through my slides. I can use the number trick. 2 and enter takes me to slide number 2. 1 and enter takes me to slide number 1. And I've got essentially with one monitor here with the touch bar, some of the things that I would expect to see from a standpoint of a presentation mode in a dual monitor setup where I can see the presenter notes and those types of things. I don't think I can see my notes here, but I can switch from presenter mode to seeing my slideshow now that I'm on a single monitor. And I've just found some of those things like the reorder objects super helpful. The other thing that I mentioned, and I figured would be nice to have a secondary camera available. We've got one PowerPoint open right now. Let's go ahead and create another presentation and bring in a design idea here. That's cool. So now I have 2 presentations open. One is called Presentation 2, and the other is called Presentation 1. Really cool names, right? Well, the Command key on a Mac and the key right above the tab let me cycle through a open applications windows. I have not seen the equivalent of this on a PC. It's something that I find super useful when I am doing maybe presentations and comparing different files or trying to come up with some design ideas and just look through the suggestions that come as you open a brand new presentation. Many of these videos, I think all of these videos actually, come in as stock videos that I can insert, and I can also search from. So if I'm looking for a stock video to use at the beginning of my presentation, I can either just look through the videos that are available, inserting these videos. I've used this one for Teams meetings, just somebody on the phone. Doesn't look like that one's playing. Let's see if I can get rid of this one and get this one to play. There we go. That was it. And then I can use the Alt and the tilde, the key above the tab, to cycle through these 3 open PowerPoints now. Instead of cycling through, right now I only have Edge, Microsoft Edge as a browser, and PowerPoint open. So it's less confusing there. And I only have one Edge window open. If I hit the Command and the End key, or in, then the 2 keys cycle through my 2 open windows in my computer there. And I believe I'm sharing my desktop here. Let's double, triple check here. I don't think I was. There we go. Now that I'm sharing my desktop, you should be able to see when I hit the control and the key above the tab that I'm cycling through the various PowerPoints that I have open. And then I go over to Edge. I have 2 windows in Edge open right now. Let's open a third tab. A nice, cool feature here from a browser perspective, at least Safari. It doesn't look like they've implemented it in Edge. Is Safari would give me different website suggestions on my touch bar. So I can go to Facebook, open another Safari window, quickly go to Google or Bing, go to new websites, Microsoft, boards.microsoft.com, looks like where it was trying to redirect. And now when I use the command and the key above the tab, instead of cycling through all of the applications that I have open, PowerPoint, Edge, and Safari, I can just cycle through my Safari windows that are open. I've found that super useful when you have maybe 3 PowerPoint presentations and I'm trying to switch between them. On the PC, it would show me PowerPoint 1, PowerPoint 2, PowerPoint 3, Safari tab 1, Safari tab 2, Safari tab 3, and other browsers, Chrome, whatever else I have installed. I don't think Safari is cross-platform anymore. It was for a little while. But certainly in my example of the different windows that I have open in Edge, open a few, navigate over to Google. So I've got a couple pages open here. Navigate to Office. And let's go to Amazon. Now when I hit the command and the key above, you can see that it's cycling through all of those different Edge windows, including the Restream window, which, since I'm sharing my desktop, is showing all that inception moment where it's showing a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot within the sharing. So this is your Tech Thursday tip for the day. You have 3 presentations open and you're trying to get back to one particular presentation. Use the command and the key above the tab. I call it the tilde key. That's the one I know the name of. And I can also cycle through my different PowerPoint presentations. And I could even go in and set a presentation up to start, or go back to my presentation here. And I dropped this in for a 59-second counter. It's break time for PowerPoint. And so now when I go into full screen, I can start my countdown and use this, maybe even record this. I haven't tried that, but record this for maybe starting a live stream and getting creative with a countdown and the backgrounds that I want to use on my live streams. That should work. This break time I've used on the PC as well as the Mac. The touch bar, if you have a Mac with a touch bar, it's really cool in PowerPoint. It's really cool in Safari. I found some other Microsoft apps that use this very creatively. But alas, it looks like the touch bar is a thing that will exist with certain Mac computers, but not going forward. So that's it for Tech Thursday. This Thursday, May 19th. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see everybody soon.